What is up, folks? Ninjas, normal people, fans, etc., etc. Strident is here, and I am back with another review slash, I don't know, montage almost of just things that I managed to come across in the last month or so. As you know, I'm getting married New Year's Eve, so a lot of my attention is kind of moved from collecting and more towards getting things ready for this wedding, because it's all coming so fast. But anyway, what I did is, what you're looking at right now are just pictures of like a little setup that I created, just having Destro, with some of the people and figures and vehicles that I found that I think kind of lean more to Destro's side of the equation. I am a huge G.I. Joe fan, and I hadn't really collected Joes in a long time. So you're seeing some little things that I've done. Throughout the vid, the first half is more of a, like I said, a montage of just, images showcasing what I found. Like this Storm Shadow that's using the Manriki Gasari that comes with the Pursuit of Cobra Storm Shadow. I found this one at Marshall's for, or TJ Maxx for like $2 or $3.99, something like that. And I found the Pursuit of Cobra one at Target for about $6. They're on sale now because they're clearancing out a lot of the old Pursuit of Cobra stuff. And I never really liked that costume because it's a retooling of the Rise of Cobra Storm Shadow, the one that's after the battle with him and Snake Eyes. So what I did was I took the weapons from him, and I'm going to use them with this Storm Shadow and the other one in the full garb. Because, I mean, he's a ninja. He needs to have all that shit, So, here's just some showcasing of the main weapon, the Manriki Gasari. After watching Ninja Assassin, I think I'm going to make Storm Shadow go off with that thing on a regular basis. I might even have a little articulated comic, so to speak, articulated comic book art, so to speak, of Storm Shadow versus Snake Eyes using that Manriki Gasari, because I've always been a Storm Shadow fan, and I finally have the ones that I think look the best. But anyway, you're gonna see new figures, old figures. It's mostly comparisons of new and old, and I don't know, I felt like doing it this way as opposed to doing it the traditional way. And I apologize for the blur on these first videos or first images in the beginning of the montage, because I was figuring out how to use a setting on my camera. So you're going to see a widescreen version, and then you're going to see you're going to see this first, and then you're going to see a widescreen version. So yeah, I hope you guys dig it. You're going to even see a couple doubles of the same thing, just done differently. So stay tuned. I hope you guys dig. All right. So first we got pretty much, this is my small version that I'm building on of Destro's forces. Yeah, I know, compared to some people on YouTube, it's not huge, but I have some key things there that I'm going to be building on. Iron Grenadiers, obviously, the Cobra Vipers and Neo Vipers, as well as the Elites and the Commandos, etc. Now you see the big change in temperature. That's the new setting on my camera, and as well as the widescreen letterbox effect. Anyway, Cobra Troopers, Shock Troopers also. I envision these things as cloned characters that Destro would have given to Cobra Commander. So anyway, like I said, you're gonna see, I've taken pictures of all this stuff together because I just wanted to kind of see what it looks like. Because you collect and you collect and you collect, and then sometimes you don't have things set up and you want to see what it looks like. And now for me, my family and I were still in our temporary apartment until we closed on this house, because we were in a kind of a strange situation, and then we ended up finding a house. So I have things still in boxes, and I got a little corner where I have everything else set up, and here it is. So anyway, here is the Iron Grenadier, badass, in 3 3/4 inch form. I mean, look at him. He's like Vulcan Raven, Jinro, the dog soldiers from Jinro and the original Iron Grenadier had a threesome, and this is what came out. Yes, I know it's gross, but that's the best analogy I could come up with. Dude is just badass from head to toe. He's fully armored. He's carrying all this weaponry. He's just strong looking, you know? And, you know, if he's going to be pretty much Destro's, like, enforcers, you know, look at that gun. I mean, it's awesome. Now, see, I missed out on the Destro that had this body. You know, I don't know. My store didn't have him, or if they did, he was gone. Because they sure as hell still got that corny Arctic Destro. But, you know, this guy looks like he belongs at Destro's side. It's like the perfect update to the old school Iron Grenadiers. It's a must buy. And you can see him with the rest of the crew. I also found a Warthog. And my Warthog, I came up with the idea of using it for Cobra because, you know, I like Halo, but I don't really use those figures because, like I told you, I was really disappointed with the Halo Reach figures. So I came up with this idea to put those Cobra stickers on the Warthog and put my shock troopers in there and have a Viper drive it. So, I don't know, this thing is massive. And it's just a little bit big in comparison to your 3 3/4 inch figures, just like the Halo figures are just a little bit bigger than the 3 3/4 inch. They're like 5 inches or something like that, so they look like the 3 3/4 inch characters in armor. But I mean, look at this. The stuff looks like it fits. I mean, some of you that are really hardcore with scale would be like, you know, this is too big for them, blah blah blah. But the seats, everything is perfect, so you can have them all geared up and then have them sit in the vehicle and still look like they got room to move and stuff, you know? And it looks functional for the kind of shit Cobra would be doing. I mean, they're going to be driving this thing through bombed out streets, you know? After they bomb the place, boom! And there it is compared to the Vamp Mark II. It dwarfs this thing. And now I'm a firm believer that Cobra should have big, fast, and powerful vehicles and weapons. You know, like their mantra should be to overpower the Joe forces. The Joe forces should have fairly modest. They should have fairly modest vehicles that are more based in reality, with a tad bit of sci-fi, kind of like this Humvee that I have from the core. I you know, just put Joe stickers on it and made it, you know, something for the Joes. And as you can see, the Warthog dwarfs it. And it should. I mean, it's a Cobra vehicle, and Cobra vehicles should dwarf Joe vehicles. So here's the Vamp Mark II. And everything that was on the Mark I is here, just bigger and better. You see the working grappling hook, or wench and hook. It actually is articulated, as you can see in the center. That is the little wench mechanism. You turn the dial and you reel back in what you got. It's got a big old cannon, like a 60 cal on there. It's got the big cannon on top. There's no doors or anything, so people can just hang out like you saw. It fits about, I want to say, 6 people easily, maybe more, and then you can have people hanging off the sides, and you've got like 4 spots for that, so it's about like 10 or 12 people you can have hanging off, and all the guns that you see on here are removable. In comparison to other vehicles like my Mini Rhino, it's small, but it still holds a lot, you know, and it's still got a lot of features that make it a little bit more. I guess it's what you pay for with the G.I. Joe name. If you couldn't afford that Lennard Core ATV is freaking awesome because it was $8. But you know, I was able to find both. This thing was $20, you know. As you can see, though, it is just a tad bit smaller than the Mini Rhino, in my opinion. It comes with Steel Brigade Delta, who is pretty badass. He comes with that gun, and he also comes with a smaller gun. And it's weird. No one in any of the reviews mentioned that he's straight up beachhead with a little bit of retooling on his legs. I think he's got Snake Eyes' legs and Snake Eyes' head underneath that helmet. And it's strange because, you know, I'm thinking to myself, everybody took off the helmet and pointed out it's Snake Eyes. But no one pointed out that the armor, the arms, everything else was beachhead. Anyway, just like the original you know, Vamp, it comes with little tools for your characters, like the hammer and that classic shovel that the original had. The guns, like I said, they're removable, and I think they did a good job with that. Here is the machine gun that comes with Steel Brigade Delta, and here's just some detail pics of you know, little stickers and whatnot that you can put on this vehicle. Personally, I wish sometimes that they would just make the vehicles come pre-painted, but I like having the ability to put that stuff on there. But overall, this is a really awesome figure. It's worth the money. You can fit a lot of Joes on there. It's almost something you gotta have, like the original Vamp. And as you can see, it's a big improvement, you know? This one has a suspension, which is awesome. So you couldn't throw it and have it jump and bounce around and Joe's swiveling and flying all over the place. But like I showed you before, there is the little shovel. There's the winch, you know, with the except now on the big one, it works. There are the little gas canisters or gas bottles that are, you know, on the back, and the new one has that too. So, you know, you're getting everything that you had before and then some. Here are the Cobras that I managed to get during this time, this haul. I want to say this is stuff I found over the last couple weeks. It's the Cobra Trooper, the updated version. And I dig what I'm seeing with him, you know? Even though he's a reuse of many of Beachhead's and Snake Eyes parts, they did a decent job actually, you know, mixing that stuff up and putting them together. I like the fact, though, that he still looks like, you know, reminiscent of the original Cobra, you know, troopers. And the cool thing is if you have them together, you know, there's not a huge difference between them. He comes with a ton of weaponry, as you see pictured. The dude is just ready to do some damage, and I think they did a good job in that department because, I mean, this is what you need if you're going to have small soldiers. And, I mean, typically, you know, if they're infantry, they're going to only be using one or two of the weapons, and then you have extra weapons for other characters. And there he is with some of the other Cobra forces, and you can see it's not too big of a change. They just got rid of the things that didn't seem to make sense. So, you know, I was impressed. Overall, this is an impressive find. Hopefully I can find a couple more, because this was the only one in the whole store. And you see these are the newer forces, and he doesn't look too out of place with them, you know. They look more armored, but he still fits. And now moving along, we got the Cobra Viper. This guy I was actually waiting for quite some time. He also came with some decent weapons, improved articulation. Both he and the Cobra Trooper have the hidden joint in their hands, which allows them to hold their weapons better, like so. He comes with pretty much some of the same weapons as the Trooper, but they're like the heavier version. And you see he's got the chromed out mask, which is awesome. You could probably make a nice Cobra Commander custom using that head, you know, remove some pieces. But you see the contrast to the old figure. Not too much has changed, but enough has been updated to make him feel more hardcore and less flashy. So, you know, I'm pretty impressed with the way they did this. He wasn't something I was really looking for hardcore. I mean, I was looking forward to them redoing him, but I didn't realize that he was in the newer stuff, you know? So in hindsight, finding him and not being like super like anticipating him was kind of a nice plus. So here we have the Cobra Snow Serpent and the Cobra Ice Cutter. It's pretty slick. The Snow Serpent is another repaint of the original Snow Serpent. In a lot of the old pictures, you know, the promo pictures, you had that Snow Serpent with a different set of colors. He's got snowshoes, and he has, you know, decent articulation, but the furry parts kind of hinder his articulation, but, you know, it's a decent figure. Anyway, the vehicle is the crowning achievement. It's the jewel here. I mean, I don't really play like a whole lot of snow stuff, but my son loves to, so it's nice to have this vehicle when we do that stuff, because both of us have a different snow job. And anyway, it's awesome. Big old wheel in the back to help push it. It's got the two treads that do the whole Thundercats, Thunder Tank action, you know, going along. As you can see, the treads are kind of, you know, in motion. So when you push it forward, the treads kind of reach out and grab and then slide back and pull the vehicle forward. So it's a pretty nice thing to see in motion. You know, I tried to convey a lot of the motion here so you can see it kind of, you know, but it's a nice thing. The gun on the top swivels and turns up and down and stretches up to be taller so it can shoot up higher. It's just a nice overall simple vehicle. You know, it'd be cool to have this and something else snow related. You know, running around in the snow together, attacking Joes, probably Snow Job or something. But it's a well done vehicle. I saw this on clearance along with the Cobra Dreadnoks Doom Cycle. They were both $9, so I was like, hey, I'll pick them up. You know, Wally World has some good sales, which brings us to the Doom Cycle. Now, I wasn't really looking forward to this vehicle. I just saw it for a cheap price, and I was like, what the hell? I want Cobras, you know, because I got enough Joes. So I got this thing, and here it is with all the weapons, you know, out, full-on attack mode, and, you know, he's ready. The rider, his name is Storm Rider. I guess he's a new Dreadnought. I don't really know much about him as far as the history of G.I. Joe. I've never seen him before. In, I guess, this iteration, they're saying the Dreadnoughts are an Australian biker gang. There he is with his weird shrapnel gun, I think they called it. It looks like a modified nail gun. I think it's kind of cool. It's kind of cumbersome in a sense because it's heavy and that wire isn't thin enough and soft enough so that when you know, plug it in, I had the super glue mine down, when you plug it in, it still kind of forces against the gun and the gun tends to pop off. The vehicle drives kind of okay. It's got nice rubber tires, and you know, as you can see, there's a place to store the, you know, nail gun. The tires are really thick and I don't know, they grip well, which I prefer the slippery plastic ones like on the Rhino and on the ATVs that I have, because you can fishtail, you know, on carpet and stuff. But anyway, there's the details. You can see it has to say Doom Cycle on it because, you know, God forbid you actually knew what you were buying. But the engine is well detailed. You know, footrests are nice, well detailed, well painted. Very simplistic. Here are the pop-up double machine cannon, shotgun things. I don't know. They look like giant auto shotguns. They're the front-mounted blades, which I don't understand what you would use those for because it's a motorcycle and there's nothing covering the wheels, but here is Storm Shadow himself, looking all badass and whatnot. He's a pretty simple figure. He looks like he stepped right out of Sons of Anarchy or something. I don't know, but he's a decent figure. I dig that. He even reminds me, actually, more than Sons of Anarchy, he reminds me of someone from Lost and Damned, that Grand Theft Auto, you know, movie or game. He's got tats on him, but I can't really tell what the tats are except for the part of the Cobra logo I can see. And there's his big old 357. We've seen that before with Crocmaster and some other guys. But, you know, overall, he's a well-detailed figure. He's simple. And if you have some Dreadnoks, which we do, he fits. So, you know, I recommend the vehicle only if you need those kind of characters in your, you know, your Cobra collection, you know. Overall, though, it's a nice figure. So, also, I got the Pit for my birthday. I haven't done a review yet, really. The review is coming. It's a pretty cool, it'll be a cool review, but I'm going to show you some pictures real quick just so you get an idea of the scope of this thing. Here it is splayed out in my studio. It comes with a General Hawk, but I have the original General Hawk figure, you know, the standalone version, standing in the base with Scarlet working on the computers. There's a couple little things I had to do to get the computers to get them to look right at the computers, but I'll tell you more about that in the review. They're mostly scale issues, but overall, this thing is an awesome, you know, awesome playset slash vehicle. I mean, it has room for a lot of your stuff. Everything makes sense that they've included. There's a little training area that also is an area so you can stage the whole, you know, attack on the Pit from the movie with the mole pod busting through that wall behind Quick Kick. That's our custom iceberg that he's fighting. There's the jail. You just drop people from the top and they fall in there. It's actually overall a pretty cool, you know, thing, and I'll show you more. I also got the C-130 from True Heroes. We call it the Hercules, but and that is also a real C-130 helicopter or C-130, you know, bomber or cargo plane that exists. But anyway, this thing is ginormous. There it is compared to most of the other flying vehicles that we have, and you see it's like the giant whale in comparison to all those other guys. If you want to see more check out my review. I did that review a couple weeks ago. It's fresh, it's still up there. I go into great detail, got a cool little montage before the review, and you know, you get to see all this stuff. It's got a lot of room, a lot of features, a lot of cool details. It's definitely one of my little holy grails, because it's one of those things that, you know, when I was on the His Tank forums, people were saying in parts of Canada and other parts of the US, they were saying, this thing doesn't exist. You know, if you see it, good luck. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm never going to see it. But then I had the good fortune, well, my family, they had the good fortune of coming across it, calling me so I could run up there and get this damn thing. But it's totally worth it. It's one of the cooler figures, or I mean cooler vehicles in my collection. If not the coolest, next to the Pit, because, you know, the bigger the better. And I only wanted a handful of vehicles for my Joes because I have a really different idea with the Joes, you know. They have limited tech because that's just the way that, you know, it seems like military works. They have tech, but it's limited. It's not overly sci-fi, you know, like his gear right there, you know. Like the freaking accelerator suits. Love them or hate them, it's still limited. So I think that kind of stuff works well for the Joes. You go crazy with tech on the Cobra side, but something like this, a big old cargo plane, it's like a must-have for your Joes, you know, and it helps add to the whole, you know, the Joes need to have a hard time fighting Cobra, you know. So yeah, you want to see more pics and, you know, understand fully how awesome this thing is, check out my review on that. Remember to check out my you know, website as usual. And yeah, check back here for the more detailed reviews of the Pit. You can also, like I said before, check the review on the Hercules, or the C-130. And yeah, I hope you dug the little haul video, and I will be back with more before you know it. Alright? So be safe, everybody. Peace.